Hey guys, welcome back to the Clubhouse. I've really missed getting together with you guys, so I'm glad that we can be together now. As we start our time together this week, I want to ask you and your family a few questions. So each week we're going to start out with a few questions from this thing called the Chat Pack. I got this when I was on a trip once, and it has all kinds of questions that you can ask each other to get to know each other, and I think they're lots of fun. So I thought I would share a few with you, and you and your family could take some time to answer those questions. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to hold up one of these questions, and then I would like you guys to pause the video and answer the question as a family. Got it? Cool. So the first one I want to share with you guys is this. What is your favorite funny face to make? Mine is this. So let's see it. The second question, which I think is almost impossible, but what is your favorite Disney character of all time? Mine, I think, is Mulan. I love Mulan. I think she's really cool. The last question is this. What is your favorite silly sounding word? I've been thinking about this. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I read this in a book recently and it really kind of made me giggle, and that's a bouillabaisse. So take some time and answer those questions as a family and get back to me. Okay. Well, all month long in the Clubhouse, we have been talking about forgiveness. And forgiveness is deciding that someone that has wronged you does not have to pay. It takes a lot of work to forgive somebody. To restore a relationship can be really difficult. But forgiveness is up to you. And God has given you everything that you need to be able to forgive the people around you. As we make our way through the Bible together, we're going to spend some time talking about the first few books of the New Testament. These books of the Bible tell us all about Jesus and what he did and what he said while he was on earth. Now, during Jesus' time, there were some religious leaders that did not like Jesus very much. They liked being the people that everybody followed and that everyone listened to. And so they didn't really like that Jesus was stealing their thunder. They also didn't like that Jesus was so accepting of other people, especially people that they believed had done bad things. So one day, Jesus decided to tell the story we're going to talk about today to show people the importance of forgiveness. So our story is going to be in Luke chapter 15. So if you have your Bibles, I'd really encourage you to get them out so you can kind of follow along in our story today. So our story starts with this father who has two sons. We're only really going to talk about the younger son today. So the important thing about the younger son that you need to know is that he went to his dad and asked for his inheritance. Now, that's kind of a silly word. Inheritance means anything that the family kind of has. So it could be money, it could be land, animals. How cool would it be if I had an animal right now? I wish. So it could be money, land, animals, anything like that that the dad had. And traditionally, the sons received that when the father passed away. But this young son went to his dad and asked for his inheritance while he was still living. It was basically like going to your dad and being like, I wish you were dead. Ouch. That had to have hurt his dad. His dad was sad, but he had decided to let him have his inheritance. So the son took his inheritance and he went to this faraway country. While he was there, he lived it up. We're talking big time party. He had all of the finest things, but his money ran out and he spent everything and was left with nothing. He got so desperate that he decided to start working for someone feeding pigs. Now, I know you guys have probably seen a pig before, but in case it's been a while, here you go. So he started feeding pigs for a living. And he got so desperate and hungry that he even thought about eating what the pigs ate. Ugh, that is gross. This is slop. Now, thankfully, he did not do that. He thought about it. He was that close. And in this moment, he realized that he should just go home. The people that worked for his dad ate better than what pigs eat. And so he thought, you know what? I should just go home. But what if my dad will forgive me? Well, he decided to try. And he had this whole plan worked up in his mind that he was going to go to his father, he was going to ask for forgiveness and beg him to let him just work for him. So he wasn't expecting to be brought back into the family. He thought he could at least work for his dad, and then he would be taken care of, and he wouldn't have to eat whatever the pigs ate too. So we're going to pick up our Bible, and we're going to look at Luke chapter 15, and we're going to start at verse 21, and we're going to kind of see what happens when the son goes home. This is verse 21. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer fit to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattest calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. This son of mine was dead, and now he is alive again. He was lost, and now he is found. So they began to celebrate. Whoa! The son didn't even think that he'd be welcome into the family. And the father turned around and gave him this massive party to celebrate because he was so excited to have his son home. Now, he does have an older brother, this young son, and he was in the fields working when this happened. And so we're going to talk about him next week. So we'll see if he forgave his brother the way that his dad forgave him. But we're going to talk about that later. I think Jesus told this story for a reason. I think Jesus wanted us to know the importance of forgiveness. The father had every right to be mad at his son. He was mean to him. He wasted all of his money and really hurt him. But he loved his son so much that he didn't even think twice about forgiving him. And God feels the same way about us. We mess up all the time. I know I do. And we know that all we have to do is ask God for forgiveness, and he will give it to us. And because we know what it feels like, how great it feels to be forgiven, then we have the chance to give that to other people. So I think Jesus told this story because he wanted us to know that everyone needs to be forgiven, including us when we mess up. And since we know what it feels like, we can then go to other people and forgive them. So when other people are mean or say unkind things to us that hurt our feelings, we have the choice to forgive them. When our brother or sister takes one of our favorite things and they break it, especially right now, it's easy to be upset. But we can choose to forgive because we all need it. And none of us are really any different than the other. So I want you guys to remember that this week. Try to put it into practice. I know it's going to be hard, but I believe in you. I know you can do it, and I know that God is there to help you every step of the way. Let's pray. God, I'm just so thankful for this time that we have together. God, I know that it looks a little different right now, but we're just thankful to come together to learn more about you and learn more about forgiveness. Be with us this week. Help us to soak in this truth and help us to realize when we need to forgive the people around us. God, we thank you so much for forgiving us so that we know what it feels like. Here in the Clubhouse, we have been talking about God's one big story. Each week we have a Bible lesson. We put one of these pictures on the wall. These pictures help remind us that the stories we talk about each Sunday are a part of God's one big story that he's telling us. So this one huge book is made up of all kinds of stories that tell us how we can love God and love the people around us every day. So because we want to keep that going, even though we're not able to be here together, I want to show you guys the picture for this week. So that way, when you guys come back to the Clubhouse, we'll be right where we left off. So the picture for today is this. It's a picture of the father hugging his son when he returns. And my hope is that whenever you guys see this picture hanging on our wall, that you'll remember that everyone needs to be forgiven, even us. For your small group activity this week, we are going to be doing something called Giving Hearts. For this activity, you're going to need some blank pieces of paper, a pair of scissors, and something to write with. So the first thing you're going to do is cut out a heart from your piece of paper. So this is what mine looks like. You can use whatever kind of paper you want. It's totally up to you. Once you have your heart, I want you to think about someone that has shown you forgiveness. It could be someone in your family. It could be a friend from school, somebody from soccer practice. Totally up to you. But I want you to think about that person. And once you have that person in your mind, I want you to write their name in the middle of the heart that you just cut out.